learned over the years, and I'm happy to share with you. So, most of you, if you do not know, have heard of home automation and uh, and what it does and the benefits. And that's what we're going to discuss this evening. And one of the things, of course, is what's required is that you need an internet connection, a Wi-Fi router, a smartphone or a tablet, and some connectable appliances and devices. The concept is of basically connecting any device with an on and off switch to the internet is known as the Internet of Things. And it's a giant network of connected devices, which also, believe it or not, includes people. And some of the devices that we see today, and this is just a list of things that are automated, and the list grows daily. Thermostats, door locks, speakers, refrigerators, crock pots, robots, vacuum cleaners, personal assistants, baby monitors, security systems, doorbells, garage door opener, plugs, and switches. And I always tell everyone if you want to get started with home automation, a good beginning is to start with lights. Automate your lights. There are two approaches of doing this. One is the device approach, and another one is what I refer to as a system approach. So if you're going to use the device approach, it may or may not involve using the internet, and it's not manufacturer specific. It can be a mix of various protocols such as Zigbee, Z-Wave, Instant On, or Wemo, and these are actually built in operating systems in the device of how they connect. And the other options would be Bluetooth or infrared, and they would include having personal assistants like Alexa, Google Home. They can be part of that system. And there are many of different types of devices that can be part of the Internet of Things to make up your smart home. You can have a mix and match approach. If you're using a system approach, that will involve using the internet and a Wi-Fi connection. And it typically involves a hub. And also you want to have Alexa and Google Assistant to be included with that. The reasons for home automation and the early days, at least why I really decided it was important for me was as I wanted to age in place, and I thought it would be a convenience to be able to have the convenience of being able to use my voice or my phone to control devices without me having to actually get up or try and fumble for light switches and so forth, particularly in if I had to get up in the evenings or I had to call someone. I wanted to have some way of being able to communicate with those devices in the palm of my hand. And primarily, I was going to use the phone or a tablet as that device. And some of the other things that I found is that there was some energy savings because a lot of these devices, particularly light bulbs, were low wattage devices. And I could control them on demand and also control them remotely. So that was really a big advantage to me. There also are some commercial approaches that you can use. which might be advantageous to people that do not want to really get into the nuts and bolts of building their own system. It's just buy one that's already uh, out of a box, and all you have to do is just place the devices in various places in your home, or have a technician come out and do that for you. And some of those devices are provided by ADT, Vivant Smart Home, and Simply Safe. The drawbacks of some of those, this type of offering, is the fact that you might be having to pay an installation fee besides monthly fees, purchase the equipment, and also you might have an activation fee as well. But if you approach it as a do-it-yourself project, you can just purchase the devices. The monitoring that takes place will be done by you. A lot of the devices are plug and play, and they are one of the drawbacks of those types of devices is that they're not integrated. They're all standalone. So you have to find a way to um, have a centralized control, and that would involve having a hub or some other type of device that can read multiple devices without, irregardless of what protocol they use to uh, control them. And a lot of times they will require you having multiple apps to do that rather than having one centralized application where everything is listed as in a dashboard situation. And the standalones are devices that may be satisfactory for you. Maybe you just only want to have an automated thermostat, or maybe you just want to have lighting devices, or a doorbell, or door lock. Maybe just a smart plug where you plug in a lamp, and then household appliances. So you can just have um, maybe just one or two devices that suits your needs or application, and you don't want to have a whole network of things that you need to deal with. So that's where hubs come into play. A hub is a one-stop solution for unifying all your connected devices if you have multiple devices. So it allows you to control them from one simple application from your smartphone or tablet. And they support multiple connectivity protocols, as I mentioned earlier, like ZB, Z-Wave, Bluetooth, for example. And they also will support IFTTT. And what that is, if this, then that, is a program uh, protocol where you can configure and trigger your connected devices. And some of the types of hubs are the Samsung Smart Things, Logitech Harmony, which in the early days was usually a remote that basically controlled your TV. They have branched out into a device where you can connect multiple devices to it and monitor and control these devices. Or it could be a supply controller. Like if you have a series of Hue bulbs, you can buy a separate hub, and that will allow you to control all the lights in your house from one application. And there are speakers with voice recognition, and we've probably heard of the Google Nest Home, which is a speaker device that you just belt out the watchword and it will respond to whatever your request will be. Those devices are being converted to Gemini these days. That's becoming the new watchword which we'll see that increasingly as time goes on to replace the Google watchword. And there's the tried and true Amazon Echo, which Alexa has been acquainted with, and they were the early on the forerunners of all these uh, voice activated devices. And there's also a hybrid version of that where not only does it serve as a hub, but also it serves as uh, a speaker device where you can also ask it to do various things through the Alexa app. Apple has been kind of slow getting up to the home automation arena. Um, Theirs is proprietary. It's called the Apple HomePod, and it doesn't really play well with other devices. It's a standalone system that if you're in the Apple ecosystem, then HomePod probably will work well for you because it integrates Siri and it can be used to control speaker and other HomeKit devices. So when you're out purchasing your devices that you want to use for your home automation project, look at the labels that are on the packaging. It'll say works with Android, works with uh, Alexa, works with HomeKit. So if they have those three labels on them, then you know you're pretty much can use them with any kind of uh, other devices that you want. Now I'm going to talk about that has been this is rapidly becoming a a situation where we're trying to integrate everything together, and that's through a new protocol that's called Matter, and I'll discuss that later. The Nest Home devices, these are the ones that run on the Android operating system, and they're the ones that you're seeing are probably one of the more common ones. They're easy to set up, and they include a Google Assistant, which will work with thousands of compatible smart devices. And you're also seeing where Google has also been made part of your automobile with Android Auto and that emerging technology. And surprisingly, whatever you have set up with your Google Assistant, they can also be accessed through your car. I mentioned the Amazon Dot Echo, and they also run on a um, customized Android operating system. And they also can be used with the Alexa personal assistant. And these are devices that were actually done. These are the ones that are been promoted through Amazon, and they have a wide variety of different types of devices that you can use to control your home using the Alexa app. So hubs can do many things besides integrating your devices so that you can have um, devices that are Alexa based, devices that are Google based, but a hub will serve as the master control. And so what they can do is they serve as a master controller. And as we move forward, the speakers are becoming really a important part of your home automation in that it can interact with other devices. You can give it daily reminders to tell you what the appointments are that you have that day just by asking the device, what's on my calendar? And you can use the calendar that's on your phone and set up the various appointments. And then the device can repeat those for you. So in the morning, you can get up and says, how's my day? And it will rattle off all the different tasks that you have on your daily calendar. It also can be used to find locations of businesses, just like in your car. I know that occasionally I use Google Maps and I will check out the location of that particular business, and the Google Maps that's in my car knows that, and it will then, when I get into the car, I can do a search and I'll find where I had made that inquiry on in Google Maps, and I just tap that, and it then gives me the turn-by-turn directions to that business. It also can give you real-time weather and news. And then, of course, if you are more tech savvy and you want to use the if this, then that um, programming, you can do so. So one of the things that is really nice about home automation is that you're able to remotely control your lights and appliances anywhere because they're on the internet. So if you happen to um, be arriving home and you want the lights turned on before you get there, you could do so from the convenience of your smartphone. Or if you want to regulate the thermostat of your home and save some energy costs, you can turn the uh, thermostat up, and when you arrive, you can turn it down so the house will be whatever temperature, your preferred temperature. Now, when I was talking about if this, then that, I'm just going to give you a basic overview of what that is. So the trigger are this, and that's part of the applet. And there are items that trigger the action. For example, you can receive a notification based on a keyword or phrase, and the action is the that part, and they are the output that results from the input of the trigger. So if I was to explain that more in detail, it's that it allows you to write simple home automation rules, which are referred to as recipes, for many devices like Philips Hue, Lutron, Nest, Belkin, Wemo, and SmartThings. And it also supports online services such as Twitter, Facebook, and SMS messaging by posting direct to those applications. So um, the applets, which are also known, used to be known as recipes, are predicates made from triggers and actions. For example, if you like any picture on Instagram, that would be the trigger. The photo would be sent to your Dropbox account, which is the action. So the ingredients are basic data made from a trigger. For example, the data that is available from the email trigger includes subject, body, attachments, receive date, and the sender's address. So using simple recipes, you can control your lights and motions and thermostat. So in this instance, if you say if it's sunset, then switch on the lamp. If every day at 10 p.m., then switch off the lamp. So that's the if and then of a recipe. And you just write that in clear language. So here's some starter ideas if you want to start building your home automation project. I suggest you make a plan and decide what you'd like to automate. And I would suggest you keep it simple and also try to make it a do-it-yourself project. And also keep in mind of how much you want to spend. One of the things that is very simple is using a Wemo smart plug. And they're just a smart plug that you plug into a regular AC outlet. And you can use it to turn your lights on and off from your phone and tablet, no matter where you are. Uh, so say, for instance, if you left something on that you needed to, that was a safety hazard and it was plugged in a smart plug, you could turn it off. Or if you were coming home to a dark house and you had a lamp plugged into one of these devices, you could turn it on. And they're fairly expensive, probably about $20, $30 each. So they use a Wi-Fi network and they can use to control lamps, heaters, fans, and you don't need a subscription or a hub. It's just simply plug into an electrical outlet and then install the app on your phone and you're in business. Google has a bonus kit that they paired up with, partnered up rather with GE, and their GE bulbs called Sea Life Bulb Combo. And you can find these at Best Buy or Lowe's for about $50. It includes the Google Home Mini and a GE light bulb. And you can just set that up, and then you can control the light using the Google Home Mini. And those are about $50, and they're expandable. You can buy more light bulbs and have them in various points of your house. And just identify them by room. Say, turn the bedroom lights on, or turn the bedroom lights off, or turn the kitchen lights on, or turn the kitchen lights off. Wherever you have, whatever location you place them, just put that in part as part of your command when you give it the instruction. Of course, there's always a question about security. And one of the things that people are concerned about is that there's lots of concerns about such as most IT, IoT malware targets non-PC embedded devices. I think we've all heard a story at one time about a car being um, turned on or activated because of some malware that someone um, designed, or a refrigerator. Um, because all of these devices are on the internet and they don't always have the security features built in because they're designed to be plugged in and forgotten after the basic setup process. So that can be a concern because there's no real built-in security with them. But the things that you can do about when you set them up is that you want to take some precautions. You want to uh, not use the same password for a shopping site account as you would for something else. Um, say, for instance, your bank account, because it could end up in the wrong hands. And another thing you want to enable two-step verification. You want to choose strong passwords, and then you want to check whether or not your email address and password has been breached uh, with this very common website, haveibeenpawned.com/passwords. You also want to be alert and watch for phishing emails that says that you may have purchased something uh, that you know in the back of your mind that you didn't, but yet it says you're being charged. And what ends up is that it says you need to click on this to verify that purchase. You don't want to do that. So you want to avoid doing those sort of things because maybe your email, a lot of the applets that you use to sign on to activate a lot of these products uses an email address and a password. So it's possible that that email address may have become compromised, and so they're sending you a phishing email. And you want to protect your home network by keeping your home network router software up to date. So periodically go out to the uh, manufacturer or the uh, publisher of your um, uh, router software and see if there is a update. You may not get notifications, but you could always go to the manufacturer's website to see if there is an update that needs to be applied. And if you allow guests or people to come in and use your network, have them use your guest network if your Wi-Fi router supports it. Most of the newer routers do. That's another thing too, is that if your router is over 5 years old, then you need to consider replacing it with a more up-to-date model. So, because routers are really the key to connecting the internet through Wi-Fi or wired connections. And so it determines where to send information from one computer to another. And it's has three separate jobs. One is to ensure that that information doesn't go where it's not needed, to make sure the information securely makes it to the intended destination. It also will wrap the data in a secure envelope or encryption for outbound traffic. And most modern routers have a built-in firewall to minimize intrusion. So that's something to keep in mind is periodically go and if you have a particular like a Netgear or a Linksys or any of those um, routers, go to those websites and see if there is a newer model that replaces the one that you currently have. Because it might be time that you replace it because any updates that are going to be made uh, may not include the router which you currently own. In regards to privacy, there's really a depressing slogan. Privacy is dead, get over it. You may have heard that. But if it's not, then uh, the number of chips and sensors and wearables that we have today will definitely seal the deal because all of those are monitoring our every step, um, our, um, our daily chores, and so forth. Um, a lot of the IoT devices require location services turned on to be functional. So they're listening to us 24/7. They know where our whereabouts. Um, but uh, you don't necessarily want to turn location services off if you have these devices. You need to think about how that is being used. If it's a camera, uh, it may not need to know your exact location if it's just being used to turn a switch on, or it's being used as a monitor to turn a device on or off. But if it's a monitor that is being used to survey an area and it has connectivity that will sound an alarm that something improper has taken place, then maybe you need to have location services turned on. So you just need to evaluate what the location, whether the location services are needed. A lot of times when software is written, they use templates and they don't necessarily go through and tailor it to that particular device. They use a one size fits all approach, not necessarily customizing it for how it's going to be used. So that's something to keep in mind. So how do you stay protected? One, you want to research the capabilities and security features of an IoT device before you purchase it. And as I said earlier, you want to keep your router up to date or replace it with a newer model. You want to use strong passwords for your Wi-Fi network, not something that can be easily guessed. You want to use strong encryption when you set up your uh, network access. Uh, WPA is kind of old hat now. It's the newer one is WEP. So you want to keep that in mind that it supports the latest protocols. Disable unrequired features uh, and services that are built into devices, such as I mentioned earlier, such as location. That might be something that you want to look at carefully. And you want to disable or protect remote access when it's not needed. For the best experience, if you can possibly use a wired connection, use it. If not, you need to have very good Wi-Fi to keep the device online. Uh, you want to maintain up-to-date antivirus software. And then again, uh, regularly check your manufacturer's website for firmware updates for that particular device. So in summary, a large variety of home automation options are available. Make a plan and do it yourself. Start simple. For instance, lights is a very good start. And all you will need is a computer or mobile device, a smartphone or tablet to control and monitor the many aspects of your home from anywhere in the world. Now, I mentioned Matter earlier, and this is a new industry standard that's been announced by Apple, Google, and Amazon and the Zigbee Alliance. Um, so, as I mentioned earlier, in today's world, there are about a dozen incompatible standards. So, if you're out shopping for a home product, you'll have an endless sea of choices. And just, for instance, just settling on smart bulbs would require major decisions whether you should get one that supports Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, or Zigbee. Uh, Most of them will support all three, but some are will only support one or two. And if the standard is not part of the protocol, then the device is not going to work. Um, so each of those standards came with vulnerabilities and defects, and it left you with many situations that made making home automation work properly really a daunting task, something you'd always have to be working on. The idea to have, in my opinion, to have a working home automation is one where you can set and forget it, and it always works for you. So Matter is the idea is to bring the best of all these under one shared umbrella, and they're going to use the existing and tested standard IP. And so you should be able to buy smart home devices that will just work, whether you're using an Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant or Apple Siri or another assistant or interface. Um, and it's open source. At the end of the process, adopters can use the same code to speed up product development. So you'll see this logo on home automation products, and it's just a simple word that says Matter compatible. Uh, so it has two goals. One is to make manufacturing secure and cross-compatible with devices, and make smart devices more accessible to consumers. It will work in the background. You don't have to pay attention to how your smart lock communicates with your smart blinds. You don't, if you use a Google Home or Alexa to control your devices, you can just continue to do that. Matter enabled devices will not break your current devices. So when you're out looking, you want to say, look for Matter is the name on the box when you buy the product. And its main purpose is to reduce confusion. And rather than asking, will this hubbub work with Alexa, Google, Apple, or SmartThings, you just need to look for the Matter logo, which means that it will work uh, because it's all under a common standard. So one of the caveats is it means that not every feature will work perfectly in every app, but it does mean that the device follows a shared compatibility standard. So that's kind of my uh, presentation on home automation, and I'll be glad to answer any questions or clarify anything that I said earlier.